Hey, 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 what is going on, IK fam? And I'm back again today for another dope Infinity Kingdom video, and we are going to be talking about all of the ways you can go about being as efficient and effective in min-maxing and leveling up your Immortals as much as you can, as fast as you can, by utilizing every single way possible in the game. So there's a couple areas we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Immortals, we're going to talk about the Alchemy Lab, we're going to talk about Well of Time, and we're also going to talk a little about Mysterium and how all of these things all interweave into you leveling up your Immortals in a multitude of ways. Let me start with the most basic. So usually when you log in, the idea here is that after you've slept, you've woken up, you probably have a good amount of action points along with stamina points too as well that you've been saving up. Now, from this point, you're really just going to go out and try and attack a gnome that you can. This is how I start my day off when I'm leveling everything. I will come up and I will take a look at, one, what is my troop power? So let's take a look first at that. My primary troop is 43-4. And I will then try and look at a Immortal, the highest one that I can attack. So I'm at 21-22. Let's click on a 22. Let's see what the recommended is. I'm at 51. I'm probably a couple thousand away from being able to hit this. So what I'll do is let me attack a 21. Let's do that. So 21's 46. I'm 44. I'm about 1.5 below. So let's go ahead, and then what I'll do here, and I'm going to briefly touch on another point, which is Lord Talents as well. So there's a certain order that I'll go in when I use Lord Talents. Now let me briefly describe which Lord Talents you specifically want to pick on the development side. The second row is Experience. Immortals gain 100% bonus XP when fighting gnome units. The second row, Divine Walker, increases marching speed by 50%, and the big one here, reduces marching AP cost to 0. Row 6, Safe and Sound. Troops cannot die when fighting gnome units. Super OP. Love it. The next one is going to be Otherworldly Helper. I like taking this prior to hitting near max level, along with max forge level, mainly because I'm going to get more value out of this initially and potentially longer term. It really is just a questionable call on what you want to do, but I like going Otherworldly Helper until that point. Again, where it reduces the cooldown time for free summons. This is for the shard summon, along for the Philostone summon by 8 hours, right? That's going to allow for me to get more shards. That means more immortal shards specifically, which I can then recycle to purple crystals or universal soul shards. And then we're going to end up going to the final row, and we're going to take Glorious Return, which doubles the rewards obtained from defeating gnome units. Rewards specifically are going to be equipment pieces along with green equipment crystals. Now, let's talk about the order that you want to go in. Oh, look at my Bubbush. Oh, little one. Okay, enough of that. She's cool, but not that cool. So now what I'm going to do is after I have attacked, let's go and look at, where is, oh, that was a marker. Man, I really wanted to look at my report. Okay, so here we go. Now we'll go ahead and we're going to hit this 21. Before I do, let's talk about the order that you want to go in with talents. So the order I like to go in is I will start always with my Safe and Sound. Troops cannot die. The reason why is because you want to attack the highest level gnome unit that you can to get the most amount of experience that you can get based on the highest level you can currently win attacks against. In addition, you'll also get EXP, you'll get higher level tier rewards for the equipment, and you'll also get more green crystals, or equipment crystals if you will. So I go Safe and Sound first, then from here I would go Glorious Return, or excuse me, I'll go, I always have to remember, I'll go Experience for 100% bonus XP, because I think bonus XP is a little more guaranteed. And then Glorious Return is double the rewards obtained from defeating gnome units. The reason why I do Glorious Return third is because there's not a guarantee you're always going to get an equipment piece on every single attack. You will, however, always get experience, and you will always get green crystals. It's just the equipment always has a chance. Again. And then the last one is I will do Divine Walker, which increases marching speed by 50% and reduces marching AP cost to 0, again, which is a big one. So that's the order I like to go in. We'll just do one attack for now, and I'm just going to show this off. And then after the attack hits, we'll take a look at the report, and then we're going to immediately go into talking about how the Alchemy Lab, Well of Time, Mysterium, and actually, now that I think about it, even the Harbor all factor into these things. Man, the small things when you really start thinking about all the areas that will factor. Okay, now let's take a look at the report after it has hit. This should be fantastic. So, what did I get here? I got what is it? Oh, well, that's because I doubled my XP. All right, I got 15.6, right, which normally would have been, what is that, 7, 8, give or take. And then I got 630 green crystals. Again, notice I didn't always get an equipment piece. But if I look at a previous report, however far I have to go back for a regular report, which I'm sure I'll find one here. Here we go. Right, you notice my last 5 reports, I didn't get an equipment piece, but I got one here. So keep in mind, that's why we say to focus in that order for Lord Talents when you're using them, because equipment pieces just always aren't guaranteed. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the next big piece here, which is going to be the Alchemy Lab. And this is my typical process that I go through after I am done using all my AP on gnomes, or if I ever have a big run, like when the double rewards event comes around and I'm just burning thousands of AP, right, which is always a good event to do that in, because it probably is the best event arguably for leveling up your gnomes, immortals. This is what I'll do. I'll go to the Alchemy Lab. I will take a look at any equipment that I have, right? So I'll dismantle any shards, but then I'll go to my equipment, right? And I have these 2 purples here that I'm currently not using. Just for sake of argument, let's just dismantle, right? I'll probably get them back later. And then, after I do that, I will go to my Immortals tab. I will look at my primary march, which is my water march here, with Luscious Locks Lance, my boy, and / aka Rico Suave. And from here, what I'll do is I'll start by looking at who I can level up. Right, as you can see, all of my immortals are around 34. I like to level them up one by one, starting with frontline units, which is going to be Lance, Bryn, and then my backline Helen, Merlin, and then I'll also go in order of grade or tier level. So I'll start with Lance. I'll try and work him up to 35. Then I'll go Bryn 35, then Merlin, and then then Helen, then last Merlin. And I'll do that by clicking on each of them, seeing which ones have the most EXP on their bar. I'll click plus, and then I'll just see if I have enough to level it. If I don't, I move on. The next thing I'll look at is boost level. That's on the top right corner here with the shield. I will then look at which ones have a green, if any, that I can use to upgrade. From here, I see that I don't have anyone right now, but I would still typically go in the same order, right? I would click here, I would click, let's say I can upgrade this, I'd go gain, as you can see I've already used all my attempts, and then I do that, I move on. Next I go on to equipment. Equipment, I'll look at every one I have, and I'll just see, is there anyone that I can level up the equipment again in the same order, right? Frontline to backline, low grade to high grade. And you can see I have everything at 30. Blue, I can't go anything past that because it's already max level, as it says. Now, on Lance, I do have 2 purples, so I could level those up, but I'm just going to save that for now because I want to try and wait a little bit to get everything at 31 and then move it up from there, because every 5 levels with equipment, you get the resonance bonus. So if I had all of these at 35, I would get another resonance bonus, which is just going to increase the power of Lance and then my overall march there. Now let me talk about why you would want to invest into leveling up, or at least powering the immortal level up for additional marches. The main reason why is because it is going to give you access to longer periods of gathering, so you're doing less micromanaging on your account. The recommendation there is to try and get your additional marches to level 20. Mine are not at 20 yet, but you want to level these up to 20, right? And again, you can see I just have a pretty simple Earth March, and then I have wind here as well. I'll add another one once I hit Lord level 30, which I am close to 29 right now. And then here, you level each of the immortals to level 20. You don't really have to level the dragons for your additional marches because you're probably still going to be investing and focusing on your primary dragon. But the immortals, you can at least get to level 20. It's a lower amount of XP scrolls that you're going to use, or tomes, and then you could just go right back to putting everything into your primary. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Well of Time. I did show a little bit there from the boost level, but you can see that's where you get boost materials from. In addition to doing Well of Time, right, from attacking any... Oh, hang on, I have that locked. So let's go back here. 7 of 8. You can see that these are some of the rewards I get, right? EXP rolls that you get, which is going into leveling, and then the equipment that you'll get, this is going into leveling up the boost grade, right? You always want to try and focus on leveling up the boost grade by maxing these. And then again, if you're just waiting, you go in order of the strongest, which for me is 7-8 because I haven't done 8-1 yet. And then I'll click on this, I'll do my raid 10 times. After I do that, I'll do 7-6, 7-4, so on and so forth. That's how you pretty much want to utilize Well of Time. In addition, realize that from Well of Time, you get a lot of bonuses too as well by clicking on the book here in the bottom left corner. You can see right now I'm on hospital capacity. You got to beat 8-8. And then you'll actually get the tech upgrade speed. You also get the building upgrade speed from here. And then you get a couple others that are really good, right? Once you start getting past, once you get to 8-8 and past that, the gold production speed is great. Dwelling Capacity is great because it increases that, which means you can collect more if you're off for longer periods. The Dragon Infantry, the training speed, all these are fantastic, right? And they really start at 8.8 once you get into that research speed past building. Now, the next thing we'll talk about is Mysterium, and then lastly, Harbor. Mysterium is a really good event to, or I guess I would say in-game event to participate in, because you get gold from Mysterium. In addition, every time you defeat a boss, you will get immortal shards along with a lot of gold. So this is a great way to get more gold, not only for your dragons, but to increase the boost level on your immortals, along with getting more immortal shards for better immortals on average. Usually it's epics when you're defeating a boss, that you can go into leveling those. All go into overall leveling your marches. The last thing we're going to talk about is Harbor. Now, Harbor is pretty standard and straightforward. After the recent patch, you can really only grab the 3, the 6, or the 12-hour ones. Now, usually what I will do now, before we were kind of doing the 3-hour rotations where we would just let it accumulate because it has been patched, now it really is in your best interest to do the 12 hours. So usually I try to now just kind of do 1 12-hour a day just so I can get the daily achievement from it, which factors into that. I still don't know if doing the constant 12 hours back-to-back is useful. I would say that, of course, if you have enough gold and you don't mind burning it, then that's fine. But at least at minimum 1 12-hour a day, usually after reset, so you can make sure, or just anytime during the day, but just once a day so you can get that daily achievement from sending your harbor astray, or away, better yet. And yeah, I want to say that's pretty much it. That's really all I have for you guys when it comes to how to officially go into leveling up your marches. I guess the last thing I could briefly touch on is maybe just a bonus point is when you're going into the market, even though I have touched on this a little bit before, right? You can approach it a few ways. You can either fish for the specific immortal shards that you want to find, which means, let's just say I'm leveling up specific immortals that I don't see here, and I want to just find those. You can refresh and go past and just search for the immortals that you want to get shards from, or you can just purchase any and all shards, right, that you see from any of the immortals that are in your marches, and you can just level them up that way. But again, if you're really trying to hyper-focus on a primary march to max them out before you do that, then you can do it this way. It's going to help you save soul crystals longer overall, but on the downside, you're also probably going to burn through a lot of your refresh scrolls. You can see I have over 400 just because of the way that I go about doing it. So it's really up to you on what your approach is there, right? It's not like there's one strategy that's better than the others. But again, by hyper-focusing, it will allow for you to hopefully max skill out your primary march immortals faster than if you did it a little bit more of a longer way. So guys, look, that is, and gals, I should say as always, remember we're gender neutral. That's it from me. I hope all of you enjoyed this plethora of tips that I have provided. I really think that this covers almost everything in all of the ways that you can go about being as efficient, effective, and min-maxing your marches to the best of your abilities. Again, this is from the free-to-play perspective. Anyone that spends, you can just add on some more sugar and spice to everything I've already said. And yeah, that's it for me. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I'll see you guys next time. I'm outie. Peace!